Hello. Hi, Molkar madam. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, then I am starting. And is the page visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone. So, today
Yes.
to start our unit number 2, that is context-free languages. Okay. So, in the first unit, we have seen the regular language. Okay. And regular expressions are used to represent the regular language. Okay? And we have seen that finite automata, it is designed to accept the regular language. Okay? But there are some limitations of finite automata. That is what? There are finite number of states. It has a limited memory. So we cannot use that for all the types of languages. Okay? And for that, we have seen the pumping lemma to prove that certain languages are non-regular. Non-regular means what? Not accepted by the finite automata. Okay, so we have seen the languages of the form like what? A raised to n, b raised to n. So this type of languages we have seen, these are the non-regular. Non-regular which are not accepted by the finite automata. Okay, so today we are going to see the next type, that is what? Context-free languages. And here we are going to study the grammar. Okay, what is CFG? Mainly we'll concentrate on the CFG. There are different types of grammars. Context-free grammar. In short, it is known as a what? CFG, context-free grammar. Okay, so the language generated using the context-free grammar, it is known as a what? Context-free language. And so CFG, it is a type of a grammar. Okay, so first we'll consider the grammar. What is mean by it? How to write the rules for the grammar. Okay, so grammar is a what? It is a what? Finite set of formal rules. Grammar is a what? You can note down it. Grammar is a finite set of formal rules for generating syntactically correct sentences. For generating, you can note down this. Grammar is a what? It is a finite set of formal rules for generating syntactically correct sentences. Syntactically correct sentences. So grammar for a particular language, it is a finite set of formal rules for generating syntactically correct sentences. Okay, so the language may be formal programming language. Formal programming language means what? Programming language, it can be C, C++, Python, Java. And natural language is what? It can be English, Hindi, French, etc. Okay, so if you consider any type of a language, you need a what? Grammar. Okay, and that grammar defines syntactically correct statement formats or constructs which are allowed for the particular language. Okay, so here let us consider a simple grammar for the English statements which generates the statement. Let the simple example I am taking with only 2 words. Let the dog runs. Okay, so the rules here, or the grammar rules, how we'll write? Let us consider this is a sentence. I'll explain this format. Okay, so initially consider this example. Let the sentence is formed using, let only 2 words are there, so I'm considering only noun and verb part. Okay, and in this example there can be different types of nouns, but here I'm considering only the let noun is here a dog, and let the verb is a runs. Okay, so these 3 rules are here written in the English language for generating the sentence what? Dog runs. Okay, so these rules, it will generate only one sentence. To generate this rule, and here there will be some start symbol. Whatever I have written in the less than and greater than sign, that is known as a non-terminal. Non-terminal or variable. Okay, also called as what? Auxiliary symbols. These are the different names. So whatever written in the less than greater than sign, okay, these are the what known as a non-terminal or variable or auxiliary symbol. Okay. Now this non-terminal, these are not taking the part in generating the statement. Which statement you have to generate? You know that this only dog runs. So only these two are there in the generated statement. Okay, so whatever is the part of generated statement, that is known as a terminal symbols. Okay, so the terminal symbols, these are the what parts of the generated string. Okay, so terminal symbols in this example are what? Dog, runs. These two are the terminal symbols. And what are the non-terminal symbols? This sentence, noun, verb, these are the non-terminal symbols. Okay, so we have seen non-terminal symbols are there in the rule, terminal symbols are there in the rule, and there is a start symbol. Okay, so start symbol can be explicitly specified, or first rule's left hand side is by default a start symbol if not specified. Start symbol is a what? It can be explicitly specified, or the left hand side of the first rule is your start symbol. To derive any string, you have to always start with the start symbol. Okay, so in this case, so what we'll do, we'll start deriving. I want to derive what? This dog runs. So we'll start with the sentence. Okay, then sentence here, we are going to replace left hand side by the right hand side. Okay, and that is known as a what? Derivation. Replacing left hand side by the right hand side is known as a what? Derivation. So I'm going to replace here this sentence by its right hand side. Okay, so here we are writing noun, verb. Okay, so what we did, we replaced sentence by its right hand side. Now here the rule is what? Non-terminals are there on the left hand side of the this rule. Okay, so this rule is what? This is, you say, left hand side, and this is a right hand side. Now here we can replace here this noun by this right hand side. So we are going to replace this noun by what? Dog in the next step. One by one we'll replace it. Okay, in the next step, what remains now? Now this is what our generated statement. Still there is a one non-terminal. So this will replace it by its right hand side. And what is the statement now generated? This is what the statement generated using this rule. Okay, so but the problem here is what? This grammar or this sentence, it will generate only what? This type of statement, only one statement, that is a dog runs. Okay, if I add one more noun here, like what? Cat. This is stands for what? Or. Okay, so you can replace this noun by either this dog or the cat. Now if here I have added means what? Now it can generate two statement. I can also generate what? Cat runs. Okay, so this is how you are going to write the rules. Okay, for each language there are rules. If I consider C language, there are rules. In the C language, you know, different types of statements are there: assignment statement, declaration statement, control statement. So for generating each type of statement, there is some grammar. Okay, so later on you will be able to write those rules. Initially I have considered this simple example. Okay, so now let us consider the formal definition of grammar. Is this clear to you, all of you? Is this example clear to you? You can write it in the chat, yes or no. So, or I will take more examples. Okay. Okay, so we'll continue now. Okay, so like this way using, or you can add number of nouns here, also verb, you can add other verbs also. Similarly, you can change the grammar. For that you should know the grammar of suppose English language, you should know the grammar, and it is not very easy, it is complicated. But here we are not going to consider grammar for the natural language. We are going to consider what? The formal language. Okay, and the formal language is what? It is always expressed in terms of the number of strings that you can derive using that grammar. Okay, and the difference we have seen between the formal and natural language is what? In the formal language, the meaning of the sentence, it is not changed depending upon the situation. But in case of natural language, what? Depending upon the situation, the meaning of the statement may get changed. Like what? Sarcastic statements or sentences in which what? You are using positive words to express the negative sentiment. Okay, so that is not here. Here it is a what? Formal language whose meaning is not changed. Okay, depending upon the situation. Okay, let us consider how we are going to denote the grammar. Okay, so in the finite automata, we have used the 5 tuples. Here, we are going to use the 4 tuple. Let G is a grammar. So we know what are the things here. We have represented non-terminals, terminus, start symbol, and these are known as the rules. Okay, these are known as the rules, or we'll say production rules, which are used to generate the statements. Okay, in this case, how many rules are there? This is the one rule. The second rule is what? Noun derives dog. The third rule is noun derives cat. And the fourth rule is verb derives run. So there are 4 production rules. So for any grammar, what are the necessary things? Non-terminals, terminus symbols, start symbols. There will be only one start symbol. Okay. So start symbol and the production rules. Okay. So grammar is denoted, that's why using how many tuples? 4 tuples. V, T, P, and S. These names may be different. It can be any names, but the 4 things are necessary. In other book, it may be used as a what we may be some other notation may be used to denote. So here we are using for the non-terminal. V is a what? Non-terminus. T is a what? Terminals. P stands for what? Production rules or rules. And what will be S then? Can anybody guess now? What is remaining now? We have considered non-terminus, terminus, production rules. So S will be what? What is remaining? Yes, correct. So S will, what will write? S is not a variable. Don't say start. It is a start symbol. It is not a variable. Yeah, it is a variable, you can say, but it is a start symbol. Okay. So S is a what? Start symbol. So any grammar, remember, you need these 4 things. Okay. Now, production rules. So how to specify the production rule? Production rule is specified like this way. Left hand side, then arrow, and then the right hand side. Okay. So let us consider how to specify the production rule. The productions rules are specified in this format. Alpha derives beta. So what are the meanings of this? Alpha and beta. So these alpha and beta, these are formed using terminus and the non-terminus symbol. Okay. So alpha and beta, that's why I'm writing like it is a what? V union T closure. So what does indicate? Alpha, beta. These the other names alpha and beta are also known as a what? Remember, sentential form. Sentential form. Alpha and beta are also known as a sentential form. These are formed using, means it is a string of terminus and non-terminus. And as alpha appears on the left hand side of the production rule, alpha is never epsilon. On the right hand side, epsilon may occur, okay, so, but epsilon never occurs on the left hand side of the rule. Okay. So if my rule is of this form, A derives alpha, okay, so where A here is a what? Non-terminal, and alpha is a sentential form. So these type of rules are allowed in the context-free grammar. So in the context-free grammar, on the left hand side, always there is a non-terminal, and on the right hand side, there is a sentential form. Sentential form is a word, it is a string of terminus and the non-terminus. So there are some typical notations used for the grammar. Okay, let us consider some simple notations. As I already told, whatever you write in the less than and greater than sign, if I am writing here let noun in the earlier example, it is a what? Non-terminal, and now I am using V for the non-terminal. Okay, but in the most of the examples will be denoting non-terminus by the capital letter. Later on, I will explain this. Okay, so this is again a non-terminal. Okay, but to avoid using this less than greater than sign, we'll just use the capital letters to indicate the non-terminus. You can note down this. Capital letters, in our case, it indicates the non-terminus. So first, notation letters. Non-terminals are denoted by capital letter. Second, terminals are denoted by the small case letter. Terminals are denoted by small case letter A, B, C. In the earlier case, terminals were what? Dog runs. That is our generalized grammar. But in our case, we are considering terminals as a what? Small case letters A, B, A, small b, or C. This way. Okay. Strings of terminals are usually denoted by U, V, W, X, Y, Z, etc. Strings of terminals is denoted by this notation. Then sentential forms, as I already told, for the sentential forms, we are going to use alpha, beta, gamma, etc. to indicate what? Sentential form. To indicate sentential form, we are going to use alpha, beta, or gamma, this type of notation. Then arrow stands for what? Production. Arrow stands for production. For example, if I am writing A arrow B, what this indicate? This indicate what? A produces B. So you can explain like this way. Whenever you are going to replace A by B, what that indicate? A produces B. Okay. Next, if the same non-terminal has multiple productions, then we can use or vertical line to represent in the grammar. Like in the earlier example, what we have used here, there are more than one here, you can say rules on the right hand side. Then we have used a vertical line to indicate the or. Okay. So those were rules. Let us consider a simple grammar, and then you are going to tell me what is V, what is P and S in that case. Okay. So I am writing let okay. So first tell me how many rules are there, and now you tell me what is the V here. V is a set of non-terminals, T is a set of terminus, P is a what? Set of production rule, and your start symbol. Okay, so for given grammar, you should be able to find all the four things. So what is V here? Set of non-terminus. What is V here? Remember the rule. Please go through the rules. What I have written here. Non-terminals are capital letters. Okay. Yes. Still, I'm not getting the correct answer. Partially, your answers are correct. Any other? Okay. So I got A, B. Yes. Any other different answer from this? Yes. Kunal has given what? A, B, and S. Few students have given A, B. Now tell me, which is the correct one? Which is the correct answer? Okay. Samir, number one. Now you tell me. Now you have seen the different answers. S. One option is S, another option is A, B, another option is S, A, and B. Samir. Number one. Samir Aga. Any different answer? Okay, who will tell me then? Number two, Yash.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the correct answer out of these three options? What is V? V is a set of non-terminals. And non-terminals are what? Non-terminals are denoted by capital letter. So what are the capital letters in this grammar?
Yes, A, B.
Yeah, and that is the correct answer. See, few students have given the answer as a what? AB, but S is also a non-terminal, so it should be in the set of non-terminals. Is that clear? Yes? Okay. Now will tell me the set of terminals. Terminals are denoted by the small case letter. Yes, terminal symbols. Yeah. Yeah, correct. Terminal symbols are, now most of you have given the correct answer, that is terminal symbols in this case are A and B. Production rules, how many production rules are here? You can give the number to each production rule later on. Rule number 1, rule number 2, rule number 3. How many rules are here? There are 3 rules. Okay. So these 3 rules are there in the production rule. Okay, I'll not write. Rule number 1, rule number 2, or rule number 3. What is start symbol here? What is start symbol here? Start symbol is yes, that is correct. Okay. So now you know. Now, can anybody tell me how many strings can be generated using this rules? Which strings you can generate using these rules? See, non-terminals will never appear in the generated string. In the generated string, only terminal symbols will occur. Okay, and you have to replace here what? Left hand side by the right hand side, and you have to always start with what? Start symbol. Okay, so how many strings can be generated? सौरभ, हाँ 2 strings कैसे आएंगे? Yes. Or Tejal, unmute yourself and you tell me how the 4 strings can be generated. Tejal?
Ma'am, hello.
Yes, you're audible. Yes.
Ma'am, A, B, AB and BA.
No, how it is possible? See, listen now, as this is a first example. Okay, you may be wrong. See, you have to always start with a start symbol. Okay, and what we have to do? We have to replace this by its left hand side. So whenever I am replacing S by AB, what you are getting? AB, correct? And now here, so here we have applied rule number 1. So you can write here, rule number 1 is applied here. So this is a what? Production. What is it indicating? S produces AB. So now you have only AB. But this is not a generated string. Generated string will contain only terminal symbols. And what are the terminal symbols? A and B. So what I need to do? I need to replace this non-terminal A by its right hand side. Also, you have to replace non-terminal B by its right hand side. Okay. So one by one we'll do it. First, we'll apply the rule for this A. So for the A, there is only one right hand side. So we are going to replace this A by small a. So which rule is applied here? So we'll write here rule number 2 is applied here, where this A is replaced by its right hand side. And in the next step now, this string, this is now, see, this is known as a sentential form. I told you about sentential form. Sentential form is what? It is a string which is formed from both terminus and non-terminus. It may contain only terminus, it may contain only non-terminus, or it may contain what? Combination of non-terminus and non-terminus. So this is also a sentential form. This is also a sentential form. Okay. So now here only non-terminal remains is what? B, and we are going to replace B by its right hand side. Okay. So when we replace it by its right hand side, we are getting the string as a AB. And which rule we have applied here? This is a rule number 3. Now this is a what? String of terminus. It is not containing any non-terminal. So this is what the string that is derived using these rules. So we can derive here only AB string using these rules. Is that clear now, Tejal?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, all the remaining students. Is that clear? You cannot derive only A or you cannot derive only B. Only AB string is derived using these rules. Is that clear? Okay. So I'll take one more example, and now you are going to derive the string for that. Okay. See, this is also known as, before I consider the next example, this is also known, this derivation, it is of the type leftmost derivation. there are two types of derivation. Derivation is what? It is the process of deriving the string from the start symbol. And there are two types, as the name indicates, leftmost and the rightmost. Okay. So leftmost here is a what? If at each step in a derivation, a production is applied to the leftmost variable or leftmost non-terminal, then it is known as a leftmost derivation. You can note down the definition of the leftmost derivation. Note down the definition for the leftmost derivation. I'll repeat. If at each step in a derivation, if at each step in a derivation, a production is applied to the leftmost variable, or non-terminal, then the derivation is called leftmost derivation. See why this is a leftmost derivation. Here you can see S derives AB. Now there are two non-terminals. Okay, if you consider from the right side, which occurs first? B occurs first. But if I consider from the left side, A occurs first. Okay, so in the leftmost derivation, you are going to always consider the leftmost variable on the right hand side and then apply the rule for that. Okay, so in this case, instead of applying rule to the B, we have applied rule to the A. Okay, next step, what happens from the left hand side? Okay, from the left hand side, which is the non-terminal that is occurring first? That is B. So we applied rule to the here B. So this is a leftmost derivation. So can anybody tell me what will be the rightmost derivation? Opposite of this. What will be there in the rightmost derivation then? We'll tell rightmost derivation mein kya hoga? How you will apply the rule? The first step will be same. In the next step, we will tell me we have to derive the string AB. This is the leftmost derivation. Opposite iska I told rightmost derivation. Yes. Can you write the definition? Yes. Number 3, Prathamesh. Prathamesh, are you there? हाँ बोलो.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ बोलो, क्या करना होगा मुझे? Rightmost में you will consider the from the right hand side. Okay, rightmost non-terminal you will consider and then apply the rule. Right? So rightmost के लिए मुझे यहाँ पे किसको rule apply करना होगा? Whether I have to apply rule for A or rule for B?
B को.
B को, correct. So what we'll do in this step, we are going to apply the rule for this B, and this B is replaced by its right hand side, that is B. So we have applied in this case the rule number 3. Okay, and in the next step then this A only that is the non-terminal from the right hand side if I consider, and then that is replaced by A, and then you are getting, so here you have applied the rule number 2, and this is what the rightmost derivation. So all of you, I think you can write the definition of the rightmost derivation. Okay, so rightmost derivation is what? You can write that. I'll just in that if at each step in the derivation of a string, a production is always applied to the rightmost non-terminal, then the derivation is called the rightmost derivation. There is another name for this rightmost derivation. Rightmost derivation, it is also known as a canonical derivation. Note down the name. Canonical derivation is what? Another name for the rightmost derivation is what? Canonical derivation. Okay. So now you know the meaning of this non-terminals, terminals, production rules, start symbol. You know now the leftmost derivation, rightmost derivation. Okay. So I'll give you one example, and now derive the string using the leftmost and the rightmost derivation. Okay. So so I'm giving you the rules. Let E gives E plus E gives E star E, E gives let A. Okay. So now you are going to tell me what is V here, what is the set of non-terminus, what is the set of terminus, how many rules are there, that is the production rules, and what is your start symbol. Number 16, Rutvik. Rutvik, unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you tell me the set of non-terminals here.
Capital E.
Yeah, correct. Okay. So what we have seen, only E, na? Non-terminus.
Yes.
These are denoted by the capital letters. And what are the terminal symbols here?
Small a.
Only small a. Other than the non-terminus, other symbols are there in the terminus. So other symbols means you should also consider plus and the star. Terminus symbols, I told that it is a part of the generated string. Okay, so A, plus and star, these are also there in the set of terminus. Okay, production rules, how many rules are there? How many rules are there here? Yes. All of you can give an answer in the chat. Yeah. There are 3 rules. So I'll just put rule number 1, rule number 2, and rule number 3. What is the start symbol here? Yeah, correct. What is the start symbol here? Yeah, because explicitly it is not mentioned. So left hand side of the first production rule, it is the start symbol. Just a minute. So that is the correct answer. Start symbol here is a E. Okay. So now you know all this thing. So your generated string, it will be formed using what? A, plus, and the star. So we know that plus and star, these are the operator. Okay. So I am giving you one string. Let A plus A star A. Okay. So now derive this using leftmost derivation. So first question here is what? Derive the string using leftmost derivation. Number 17, Adesh.
Yes, ma'am.
Bolo. We have to derive this string and we are going to use the leftmost derivation. Bolo. This is a start symbol. E is a start symbol. You can apply any of these 3 rules. Okay. See now these 3 rules are for the same left hand side. So other way to write this is what? You can write E plus E or E star E or A. So why we can write this? Because these 3 rules have the same left hand side. So other ways you can write this way. E derives or E produces E plus E or E star E or A. Okay. So from these 3 rules, which rule you will apply here? Bolo, Adesh. Adesh, are you there?
So,
There are only 3 options, no? You tell me which rule you will apply. E derive A तो नहीं apply कर सकते because that will derive only A, no? What we want? A plus A star A. So which rule you will apply? There are only 2 options, no? E plus E or E star E. I say something, it may be wrong or correct, no?
E star E, ma'am.
Huh?
E star E.
Okay, he is saying, let us start E star E. So this, he has said that he will apply rule number 2. Okay, next. Now we are using leftmost derivation. So the leftmost derivation, what we have to do? There are two non-terminals, correct, on the right hand side. Okay, which is the leftmost non-terminal? This E. And now which rule you will apply to this E, so that finally you will get this A plus A star A. Bolo. Okay, because a multiplication operator, it has already occurred, no, in this. So what we need now? A plus. So we need a plus operator. Okay, so most of the students are saying correct. Yeah, is that correct? Adesh, now you tell me. All students
Yes,
are
ma'am.
saying that we have to apply rule number 1. Rule number 1 to which non-terminal? To the leftmost non-terminal, that is this E. Okay, so we are going to replace this E by E plus E. Now your string becomes this. Which rule we have applied here? Rule number 1. Is that clear now? Now you are going to complete it, Adesh.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, bolo mujhe. Which rule I have to apply?
Third rule.
Third rule. Leftmost non-terminal के लिए, that is, this is your leftmost non-terminal E. So this E we are going to replace by its right hand side. So we have applied the rule number 3. Now next, bolo, continue करो तो. Next step में क्या करना है? Now if you compare this our derived string, and this is what we are expecting, or we want to generate this. So from this you can see that A plus, this is matching with this. Next what we want? Next we want what? A. So rule number, and you have to write step by step. See, all of you listen. In one step only you don't show that A plus A star A. You have to show it step by step derivation. So now we are going to replace this A, E by its right hand side. That is in this case rule number 3. Okay, and then in the last step we'll be replacing the leftmost non-terminal, which is only this E remaining, by A, and this is a rule number 3. So finally your string is derived here using the leftmost derivation. Is that clear now, Adesh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now the next my question is to some other student. Let me check who can answer. Remaining student now derive the string using the rightmost derivation now. Number 37, Ujjwal.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now you got this leftmost derivation.
Yes, ma'am.
Now same string we have to derive, but using now rightmost derivation. Now can you tell me? So I'll write here only. Let now rightmost derivation. Bolo. Which rule you will apply first?
Means similar leftmost E star E.
अरे leftmost नहीं है, right now.
Sorry, rightmost.
Rightmost derivation अभी हमें करना है. So first rule बोलो मुझे. E gives.
Rule 2.
Rule 2 you are applying. E gives E star E. Okay. Now this is a rightmost. Remember now. Which rule or which non-terminal you will consider to replace?
Right वाला, ma'am.
Right वाला, correct. Rightmost कौन सा है? The C, correct?
E. Yes.
Now which rule you will apply so that finally we'll get this string A plus A star A. So rightmost यहाँ पे कौन सा apply करना होगा?
Rule 3.
Rule 3, correct. So you will get E star A. So here I'll write this is a rule number 2. This is a rule number 3. Yeah, correct. So now here we are going to match our string from the right side. That is rightmost derivation. So if you match here, you can see this star A and this star A part is matching now. Okay. So now which rule you will apply here for this E, so that finally we'll get the target string? Rightmost non-terminal. Each time you have to consider the rightmost non-terminal in the rightmost derivation. Bolo, Ujjwal. Remaining, you can give the answer in the chat. You can complete it, derivation.
Your voice is breaking little bit. Hello,
हाँ
ma'am.
बोलो अभी. Which rule you will apply now?
Again, we will use rule 1.
Okay, so rule 1 means
Rule 1
this.
for plus symbol.
So E plus E star A.
For plus symbol, rule 1.
That is your rule number
Yes,
1.
ma'am.
Okay. You are getting my voice now? Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So now, Ketan, just a minute. I'll answer your query. Now, bolo abhi. Which E I have to replace now?
Into that multiply sign star
This E. So
near to that. Yes.
what is the rule that you are going to apply? Rule 1, 2, 3 mein se?
Rule 3. Rule 3.
That is, yeah, correct. See, you applied here the rule number 3. And finally what?
Yes, ma'am.
This E is replaced by this.
Again with rule 3.
Yeah, so finally your string is derived. Okay, so you have both the strings now using leftmost derivation and using rightmost derivation. Is the approach, both approaches clear to you? Leftmost mean you
Yes,
are
ma'am.
always considering the leftmost non-terminal and to replace it by the right hand side, and in the rightmost you are going to derive the string from the right side. Okay, so these are the two ways to derive the string. Okay, so Ketan, what was your query? So what he is asking, yeah, that is a good question. That is, can we start with rule 1 in rightmost? Yeah, you tell me. If you start with the rule number 1, can you derive A plus A star A?
Plus E.
Hmm?
Plus E.
Can you derive this same string A plus A star A if you are going to start here, instead of E gives E star E, E gives E plus E? All of you try for that and you tell me why this is happening.
Plus E.
Yeah, why this is happening. So what he is saying, I need to write grammar again. Let E gives E plus E, E gives E star E, and E gives A. So this is our grammar. And what we want to derive? Rohan, that is correct. So why all of you see A plus? Okay, so instead of starting with E star E, I am starting with E plus E. Okay. And let us consider we are applying, as Ketan said, let rightmost. It can be leftmost or the rightmost derivation. So if I am applying rightmost, now you Ketan tell me, rightmost derivation कर रहे हैं तो क्या होगा यहाँ पे?
E star E.
For this rightmost E, you will apply E star. And as it is a rightmost derivation, E plus E star A, correct? Then in the next step, you can write rule each step. At each step, you write the rule that is applied. So A plus A star A. Okay. So now here you can see we have derived this string starting with E plus E using rightmost derivation. And here the same string we derived using rightmost derivation, but starting with what? E gives E star E. Now why this is the problem here? Because this grammar is an ambiguous grammar. So this is a case of ambiguity. Why it is ambiguous? Because the same string can be derived using more than one ways. If I am considering rightmost derivation, and if there are more than one ways, suppose there are 2, 3 ways. So in this case, there are 2 ways using rightmost derivation to derive the same string, then the grammar is known as an ambiguous grammar. Same thing, if you try here with the leftmost derivation, you can also derive that string. Okay. So if you can derive the string using more than one ways, that can be leftmost or the rightmost derivation, then it is a ambiguous grammar. Okay. Other way here is what? There exist two parse trees. Okay. So what is mean by a parse tree? Let here draw the parse tree for the earlier case here. E gives E star E. Okay. For the leftmost derivation, let us draw the parse tree. So in the parse tree, see, tree is a what? There is a, you have studied in the data structure, no? Tree. There is a root node, there are leaf nodes, there are interior. Always remember. Okay. So E gives what? What is the first rule we applied? E gives E star E. Okay. So E in the same way, we'll draw here. So here we'll draw like this way. E gives E star E. Okay. The first rule that is applied. Next step. Okay. So for this first E, we have replaced it by E plus E. The same I'll apply here. That E gives E plus E. Okay. And then for this, we have applied E gives A. This we have applied E gives A. And this we have applied E gives A. Okay. So if you consider here, leaf nodes are forming a what? Your string. Leaf nodes are what here? A plus A star A. Okay. And your root node is always a start symbol. And if you consider interior nodes, so these are the interior nodes. So these interior nodes are the non-winners, you can see. Okay. So this is a what? A derivation tree for the input string. So derivation tree is a what? It is a graphical representation or description of how the string has been derived or generated using a grammar. So write the definition of derivation tree, all of you. Derivation tree. Derivation tree, note down, is a graphical representation. Is a graphical representation or description of how the sentence or string of how the sentence or string has been derived or generated using a grammar. Using a grammar. ठीक है, चलिए रिपीट और नोट डाउन किया आप लोगों ने. Derivation tree is a graphical representation or description of how the sentence or string has been derived or generated using a grammar. Okay. So for every string derivable from the start symbol, there is an associated derivation tree. Okay. So derivation tree is also known as a rule tree. You can note down. Derivation tree is also known as a rule tree, or it is also known as a parse tree, or it is also known as a syntax tree. These are the different names for the derivation tree: rule tree, parse tree, or the syntax tree. Okay. So now, so this we have drawn for the leftmost derivation, starting with what? E gives E star E. Okay. So now try to draw the derivation tree. Draw the derivation tree using the rightmost derivation, starting with E gives E star E. Draw the derivation tree using this and tell me whether you are getting some different tree or not. Now who will tell me? Rohan, number 33. Rohan.
Yes, ma'am.
So now this is what our, you have noted this, no? Rightmost derivation. नोट डाउन किया है नहीं?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you tell me how you will draw the syntax tree or the derivation tree from it. This is already we have done for the leftmost derivation. Now using rightmost derivation. So what is the first rule applied? You will always start with the start symbol. हाँ, कौन सा रूल अप्लाई किया है?
Yes, ma'am.
रूल कौन सा अप्लाई किया है?
Second rule.
तो you tell me ना, E gives E star E.
Second.
हाँ. नेक्स्ट स्टेप में कौन सा रूल है? रूल टेल मी द रूल.
Okay, ma'am. First rule, ma'am.
फर्स्ट नहीं अप्लाई किया है. सी द हियर रूल नंबर 2 यहाँ पे अप्लाई किया है. नेक्स्ट स्टेप में विच रूल इज अप्लाइड? रूल नंबर 3, राइट मोस्ट डेरिवेशन आई एम टेलिंग यू.
Rule 3.
Yeah, rule number 3 means what I have to do? E gives A. Next इसमें फिर
A.
E gives E plus E.
E gives A.
E gives A. E gives A. Now you got the same string.
Yes.
A plus A star A. Leaf nodes are the terminal symbols, and interior nodes are the non-terminal. Okay, so you can see leftmost derivation, rightmost derivation, starting with what? E star E. Okay, and this is what your string. So the same string you are getting. You may use leftmost derivation or rightmost derivation, but you are getting the same derivation tree. Is that clear? Your approach may be different. It may be starting from left side or starting from right side, but the derivation tree is same for the given string if you are deriving it using leftmost or the rightmost derivation. Okay, so this is what using the E star E. But if I am starting with this one, E gives E plus E. Now who will tell me using this right E plus E, starting with E plus E? Number 71, Omkar.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ बोलो. So this is what our string starting with E plus E, and we have used here the rightmost derivation. So how you draw the parse tree or the derivation tree? First rule कौन सा apply हुआ है?
Rule number 3.
Rule number 3 नहीं रे. E gives E plus E. Rule number 1 apply हुआ है. After that rule number 2. So for this E, we have applied what? E gives E star E, and as it is a rightmost derivation, will यहाँ से आएगा. So terminal symbols are here A plus A star A. Now here we can see starting with E gives E star E and starting with E gives E plus E, you are getting different parse trees. Okay, so if there exists more than one parse trees, then the grammar is ambiguous. Again, that is very important concept, ambiguity. And if the grammar is ambiguous, you need to remove the ambiguity from the grammar. That we'll see in the next coming lectures, that how to remove the ambiguity from the grammar. Okay. So now here, so are the concepts clear? Leftmost derivation, rightmost derivation. Okay. So for the same, I am giving you. Let me. Using the same grammar, derive this. So my question here is what? Derive this string using leftmost derivation, using rightmost derivation, draw the derivation tree. Can you do this? कर सकते हो? Leftmost derivation, rightmost derivation, derivation tree for the string. See, what is your question, Bharat? For the E, there are 3 right hand side. You can take any rule. As E is a start symbol, you can start with any rule. Okay. So for this grammar, you can also derive the string A. I will directly apply what? E gives A. Correct? and you can derive the A string also. If I want to derive A plus E, A plus A, how will start? We'll start with the E, we'll apply the rule, okay? And then if it is a leftmost derivation, you will apply what? E plus E, and then we'll apply what? A plus E. Is that clear, Bharat? Any doubt? Any other doubt?
Ma'am, in the above question that ambiguity was coming, no? So there, in the leftmost also, can we use that first rule for starting
Yeah,
the
correct,
tree? So
correct,
there will,
correct. See, yes, your answer is correct because it is ambiguous. So for this, all grammars may not be ambiguous, no? So this is ambiguous grammar. So using leftmost derivation, you can either start with E plus E or you can start with the E star E. Still, you can derive the string, correct? That was your question, no?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So same thing in the rightmost derivation, if you start with E plus E or E star E, you can derive the string, okay? So there are two ways. Here also there are two ways. यहाँ पे two ways. There can be more than two ways. Then I told that this is a ambiguous grammar. Okay. And if ambiguous, we need to remove the ambiguity. In the next lectures, I told that we'll be eliminating ambiguity from this such that there will be only one way to derive the string. Is that clear, Bharat?
Yes, ma'am. But here that derivation tree also comes same. For if we go by another way
No,
also.
no. You will get different derivation tree. For this E plus E and for this E star E, the trees will be different. Here you can see this is what this is a this tree is different. No, this is not same as that of if I am see here I am starting with E star E. Okay, rightmost हमने consider किया. Here we are starting with E star E. So this tree is different and this tree is different.
Ma'am, we'll by the same method we'll try for leftmost also. So if that comes
Yeah,
true, then both the
yeah, you will get
derivation
two
tree will be
trees
same.
because it is ambiguous. What that is I'm telling you. If there are two derivation trees, then the grammar is ambiguous. For the same string, if you are getting two derivation trees, it is ambiguous. Earlier example जो हमने consider किया था, S gives A gives small a, B gives B. There you can try. There you will get only one derivation tree. Okay. So next time I will take the example which is not ambiguous and there you are going to get only one tree. Okay. ठीक है वरन? So I'll give you one example for the homework. Here I have given for you non-terminus, terminus, production rows S, where S is okay. Okay, the second example now here, you derive the string using leftmost and rightmost derivation and the string is given AA, BB, AA. Derive the string using leftmost derivation and the rightmost derivation. Okay, so take this for the homework. This also you have to do. Which string I have given? A star A plus A. Derive it using leftmost, rightmost and derivation tree. Here also leftmost, rightmost derivation and the derivation tree. Okay. So take that as a homework. Next time we'll continue. We'll consider a few more examples and given the language, how to write the grammar, that part we'll take. And we'll also consider how to eliminate the ambiguity. Okay, then how to simplify the grammar, then different types of grammar. Okay, so and then the relation between the regular expressions and the grammar, that also we'll consider in this part. Okay, so I think next lecture is there that CS Molkar madam will take. But before that, there are a few announcements related to our tutorial. Okay, so for our subject, as I already told, there is a tutorial of 25 marks. Okay, so after each unit, I will be giving you a one tutorial, and that I am going to give you the batch wise. Okay, for each tutorial, there will be 15 marks. Okay, so like this way, 6 tutorials will be there, one for each unit. And for this, among this 15 marks, you can note down that is 5 marks are there for your timely submission. 5 marks are there for your performance interaction during the lecture. So whenever I'm calling someone, you should be there. I am noting each time who is answering whenever I'm calling and who is not answering. So 5 marks I'm going to give for that, your performance during lectures or during tutorial, and 5 marks will be there for the oral. That I will be taking at the end, or I will inform you that prior. Okay. So like this way, there are 15 marks, and timely submission ke liye I'm going to give 7 days. Okay, so today I'm going to give you your tutorial 1 on unit 1. Okay, so deadline for that is 10th September. So before 10th September, if you submit it, you will get 5 out of 5 marks. Okay, if it is late by 2 days, you will lose 1 mark. That is, you will get 4 marks. If it is delayed by 4 days after 10th September, you will get only 3 marks. If it is delayed by 6 days, you will get 2 marks. And if it is delayed by 7 days, you will get 1 marks. And after 7 days, you will get 0 marks. Okay. So is that clear to all of you? So I have uploaded a tutorial 1, 2, 3 for 3 batches. I have mentioned the roll numbers. So batch 1 will be roll number 1 to 24. You have to solve that tutorial 1. Batch number 2, you have to solve tutorial 2. That is roll number 25 to 28. And batch number 3 is what? From 49 onwards. Okay. So that is uploaded on the Moodle. So you download it from the Moodle and start solving. Your deadline is 10 September. Okay, before 10 September or on 10 September, if you submit, you will get 5 marks for that your timely submission. Okay, what was the question? So that I'll stop. Any question? Okay, what Ketan was asking. This is a or sign. This is not a notation. Okay. So this indicate what? There are 2 rules. S gives A, capital S, or S gives A. So this is same as what? Instead of writing left hand side twice. Okay, this is the meaning of or. S gives AAS, and one more rule is there for S gives A. Similarly, here there are 3 rules starting with A. Okay, so one rule is what? A gives SBA, another rule is A gives SS, and the third rule starting from A is A gives BA. Okay, Ketan, okay? So I think we'll stop. Is there any doubt regarding tutorial? You have to upload it on the Moodle itself. Is there any doubt, or I'll stop then?